What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Rob Invest. My name is Rob. Welcome to another video. So I'm going to talk about why I sold my Ultity. Now, before we get to the topic, you guys need to know that I am not a financial advisor. This video is for entertainment purposes, so please do your own due diligence. So let's get to the topic. Again, we're talking about why I sold my Ultity position. Now, I did not sell all of my Ultity position. I sold the majority of my Ultity position. I think I sold around like 66%. I had about 3,000 into the product, but now I only have like $1,000 into it. And in my opinion, I have three good reasons why. Now, the first reason is just looking at what the fund does, looking at what the type of companies that the funds do cover call ETFs on. It's very high risk, and a lot of these companies that's in the ETF, some are profitable, but a lot of them are unprofitable. Now, some of the companies that they do cover calls on, I am familiar with them, and I do know the company. I do know the companies, but most of them I don't. So not only that I don't know the companies, but also I am, they're not profitable. Some good investment advice would be to invest in companies that you know. Now, if there's a company that you're interested in that you've never heard of, make sure you do your research. Make sure it has good fundamentals. Make sure it has a promising balance sheet. Now, you're going to have companies that are not making profit, but it's all in that belief that the company that you chose is going to grow over time. Now, it's probably not going to grow overnight. Now, it may take 5 or 10 years, but it's going to grow. Now, I know some people are going to argue, well, a lot of people invest in, the QQQ ETFs, or they invest in an index fund, the S&P 500 index fund, or the QQQ ETF, or the NASDAQ index fund, and you don't know all the companies, which is correct. Now, you're not going to know about every single company, but here's the difference between the S&P 500 index fund, or the ETF, or the QQQ ETF, or the NASDAQ index fund. These funds have a track record. Ultity does not have a track record. So when Ultity starts to have a track record, when it's only been out a little over a year. When Ultity has a couple more years under its belt, then maybe you can better that argument. Sorry guys, I can't really talk. My mouth is a little dry, so just be patient with me. All right, so the second reason why I sold the majority of my Ultity position is because the distributions. Ultity distribution is around 80% to 90%. I don't think it's going to keep up with that. Because, if you look at ETFs in the past, like QQQI, when it first came out, it was paying a 70% yield, right? And then the NAV started at 20, and they did a couple of reverse splits, and overall, the price is down 50%. The NAV is down 50%. So what happened to the distribution? That also cut in half. So not only that the NAV is down 50%, but the distribution yield is also down 50%. Same thing as IWMY. That's from also Defiance. I mean, since inception, it was paying like 70%. At times, it was paying 100%. But look at the NAV. It dropped by 50%. Look at the dividend or the distribution. It dropped by 50%. You could say the same thing with Tesla. Well, I'm sorry, Tesla from YieldMax. Same thing. The NAV dropped 50% and the dividend yield dropped 50%. Tesla started off at 70%. The NAV declined by 50%. So now the distribution yield has declined by 50%. And I think it is due to, number one, just like I said back in the first reason, ULTY has these risky companies that they're doing option strategies on. And like I said, I don't think these companies are sustainable. So if you have an ETF with unsustainable companies, that yield that they're generating is not going to be sustainable. So I believe the NAV is going to go down over time, even though ULTY has changed their strategies a bit. They're doing some downside protection. We're still seeing some NAV erosion. I mean, we've even seen the dividend payouts go down. Not by much, but it's decreasing. And, just to think about it, I mean, what if we have a bear market? Is ULTY going to do good? Is ULTY going to survive? Now, I know it's going to go down, but is it truly going to survive? Now, on that same token, do I think ULTY is going to go down to zero? No, I don't think it's going to go down to zero, but I think there's still going to be some more NAV erosion to go. I mean, the prices are going to get lower and lower. Now, will they have to do a reverse split? Probably. Hopefully ULTY can stabilize a little bit more so they don't have to do the reverse split, but who knows? They may have to do a reverse split. So we'll just have to see in the future. Now, the third and final reason why I sold the majority of my ULTY position is because I want to do a combo between growth and income. Now, when I'm talking about growth, I'm not talking about investing in QQQ or SPYI or IW or IWM, right? I want to stick to the cover call space. So what I want to do, I want to balance out the higher yielding ETFs with something that's lower yielding ETF, something that is lower yield that is going to give you that growth. So like for an example, I have QQQI and QQQI, but let's just say I'm going to take QQQI, which is going to pay me a 40%, and take GPIQ and pair them together. So why do I think this is a good pairing strategy? Because GPIQ and QQQI, they both pay a high dividend yield. Now with QQQY, I still think there's still going to be a little NAV erosion. Even though it's stabled out, there's still going to be a little NAV erosion. So that's when GPIQ comes with the growth. Now the growth from GPIQ is going to offset some of that NAV erosion from QQQY. Actually, last week I made a video about the ETF combination strategy, or cover call ETF combination strategy. Like I said, I did it last week and I forgot the title of the video, but if you look at the thumbnail, it'll say save the NAV. So the video is just basically about what can you do to, cushion the NAV erosion. So if you want to look at that video, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share. Alright, so that's all I got for you guys. If you guys like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. what are your opinions on on Ultity? Put it in the comments section. Um, are you guys gonna sell Ultity? Are you guys gonna buy Ultity? What are your thoughts on Ultity? Put it in the comments section. Just share your opinions. Share your opinions on the video. I mean, it is So, all right, guys. I will see you in the next video. You guys have a good one.